Hello, everyone. It's a pleasure to be on another episode of the African Female Voices podcast. It's always a delight to be able to connect and speak with young African women and to basically showcase what they are doing in their own little corner of Africa. I mean, Africa is a very large continent, so it's only necessary for us to embrace our diversity. We have a special guest who is a young lady, an African lady from Nigeria specifically. She lives in Nigeria. She grew up in Nigeria. Our guest for today will basically be speaking on her role as a founder of a non-governmental organization based in Africa, specifically Lagos, Nigeria, which basically is passionate about empowering women and children, especially in the area of education and empowerment for widows in particular. So the focus is not just on African women in general, but more specifically on widows and how to empower them and make them more productive member of society. Bumah, Mimi, please could you say hi to our audience?
Hello, everyone.
It's a pleasure to have you on the African Female Voices podcast. This generation were the trailblazers in a lot of aspects, and running a non-governmental organization at such a young age. You're in your 20s, right? If I'm correct.
Yeah.
An overview.
Yes,
Exactly. So having given a brief overview of what your non-governmental organization is about, I think it's important I formally introduce it. So Mimi, you run a non-governmental organization known as the Crystal Care Foundation. And I like to quote this, which I found on your page. It says that the Crystal Care Foundation is a non-governmental organization which focuses to give quality education to young children and to empower widows. For further insight, tell us what your foundation is about.
Oh, okay. Thank you very much, Suzanne. Like Susie said, I'm Mimi Bumah. I'm 23 years old, and I started running this organization in 2019 when I was 19 years old. So Crystal Care has been running for close to 3-4 years now, if not more. I'm sorry, I can't remember, but yeah, 3-4 years now, and we focus our energy on the Sustainable Development Goals 1 and 4. The first one states no poverty, and the fourth one is quality education. Poverty scheme is that we try to empower widows, because we know that things can be really tough for them not having a partner to do life with. Some of these people, they lose their husbands at at their young age. Some of them 20, 25, having like 3 children to cater for and all of that. So we empower them through teaching them skills, bringing people to teach them skills like whatever skill really is lucrative in their area. We do this according to areas. For example, the first one we had in 2019, that was December 2019, was at Ilaje Bariga. So we noticed that one of the lucrative businesses there, aside food, which is necessary for every human being, is making of these local liquid soaps, because this is what these people in the area can afford, and also tailoring. So we couldn't get enough funds to get some of these widows sewing machines. So we went ahead to bring instructors to teach them how to make these liquid liquid disinfectant and all of that. And after that, we awarded the best students. Let me just put it like the best students with money to continue the business. And also we gave out Christmas packages to them, because it was in December, I think a week to Christmas, or the week of Christmas. That was when we did that. then also for the quality education goal, what we do is that we go out to search for children who do not have access to quality education. Like Susan said earlier, we are focused on giving quality education to children because we believe that education, education or quality education is one of the powerful tools to success in the world. I
Yes.
mean, you can have all the money in this life, but without education, there are some doors you can't enter.
Are done in the world. It empowers people, as you said. And what better way to lay the foundation of education than to start with the younger generation, children specifically, as you said, which are your target audience. That's children on one hand and widows on the other hand. So hearing these initiatives that your foundation, the Crystal Care Foundation, has embarked upon is very inspiring as a young African lady of your age. Secondly, let me throw in another question to you. So you've highlighted two major areas in terms of empowerment and education, which are very, very valuable skills, skill empowerment, and then education to as well manage those skills effectively. So I'd like to ask that this your foundation, I would term it as it started off with passion, right? But at the same time, there has to be some um something must have motivated you to embark on this and the establishment of a non-governmental organization. Can you please share any insights into that?
Okay, yes, I'll do that. So, in 2018, I I did the diploma program in the University of Lagos, which happens to be the school I just graduated from. So,
Yay, congratulations.
thank you very much. So coming back from school every day because we didn't get accommodation in school as like they'll say we're not complete students of the school yet until you're a full student. That's why you can have access to accommodation within school. So I had to like always go back home every day, at least for like the first 2 months before I found accommodation around school. And going to school in the morning, taking public transport, you will see these little kids out there around them, Jibo. There's this area before you get to school, Jibo area. You see them begging you for food, begging you for even if it's like half water or water that is not water that you have drunk or anything that is in your hand, even if it's biscuits that you are eating, or even if it's empty lying on, they will just want to collect it from you. They will be begging and all of that. And I just felt that, oh, these people are supposed to be in school. If they can, if they are in school, they wouldn't need to be here by this time doing this type of thing. I mean, when I'm going to school, when I'm coming back home, that's like what I see almost every day. So that really pushed me. I prayed about it and I had the go ahead to go on with it. So yes.
That was such a beautiful origin story. So basically, the experiences of young African children on the streets begging, lack of education, lack of access to water, to even a place to live, basically. So these children were deprived of basic human amenities. And that served as a push exactly for you to establish a foundation. That's such a beautiful and touching story anyway. Because I mean, how many people, not, I would say how many people, but obviously people are interested in making a change in this world. It just depends on who is able to take up that stance and actually put in their dreams, like making your dreams actually come true. It takes a lot, and that is very commendable. So thank you. Thank you for following your heart, and thank you for having a heart for the African child. Thank you. All right, then. Still talking about the foundation. So, I know previously in your introduction, you kind of shed some light on some of your achievements and your initiatives. But I would like to ask a little bit further about what goals have you successfully accomplished, or are there any one that you're currently working on prospectively that you would like to share?
Okay. So every year we we put out one project every year because number one, I work with students. I must say my team, were made up of students. Most of us just graduated last month. So nobody really, we have other things bothering us like academic activities. Some people have businesses they run and all of that. The first year we started in 2019, we put out 2 projects, which I was grateful for. But moving on, we had to put out one project every year because trying to balance it up with school, with business and other things. Because I own a business. I've always owned a business since I was 17 or 16. I can't remember right now. I needed to balance it for not just myself, but for other people, because I believe that while doing teamwork, it cannot be about just only me. Probably if I was the only one, if I could achieve it alone, I would have found a way to like maneuver and like just create time because it's something like I'm passionate about. I'm not saying the people I work with are not passionate, but at the same time, we need to apply wisdom in whatever we're doing. So we've had like over 4 projects we've worked on. We worked on 2 in 2019. We worked on 1 in 2020. We did a COVID response, food response, which we partnered with one of Nigeria's big NGOs to Feed the Kids Foundation, where we give out palliatives like food items to children that stay around Bariga area. That was in 2020. 2021, we also had a school project where we had to give out school items to students in Makoko. Then last year, I had a partnership with Peace First organization where I was on a project and I was asked to create mini libraries for children, for people in like slum areas. So yeah, we've worked on over 4 or 5 projects. Currently, we're on a project, I like to call it Project Renovate. We're trying to renovate some schools in Makoko area. I mean, some of these children don't have good seats. Some of them, they don't have fans in their classes. So it's a Project Renovate we're working on right now. We've not put it out yet, but yes, that is it.
This is really, really remarkable and outstanding to hear that you've executed so much in just a little time that the foundation has been founded. And as you said, in 2019, and this is 2023. And just to put it out there as well to our audience, is that your foundation is based in Lagos State, Nigeria. And you're specifically after children and particularly people living in poverty and slum areas. I know you mentioned repeatedly how you specifically carried your initiatives and your programs and projects to those living in some areas to provide education, relief materials, and basic amenities of life. And that is really, really outstanding. So something else I picked up while you were talking was you mentioned your team. And I know it's really impossible to have a foundation or whatever establishment without having some challenges or obstacles. So I would like to ask, what are some of the challenges that the foundation has come across since its launch?
Oh, in Nigeria right now, funding is the basic issue we've been encountering as the year goes by. Trying to convince people. I mean, I don't like to say people are not kind enough, because it has to deal with like you being passionate about these things and
About it, yes.
see a change in your community. But at the same time, the economy in Nigeria is not encouraging at all. So I really don't blame people that don't buy the idea of contributing towards these projects sometimes, because when you have a budget of, we've had budgets of over 2 million naira, and sometimes we can't even get up to like half of the budget. We just have to make do with what we have at the end of the day. So funding, and number 2, people staying committed. It's easy to start anything, but carrying it on is like really hard. I mean, when we started, a lot of people bought into the idea that, thank you so much. I've always wanted to do this. But when you call for meetings that, okay, please, we have to have our meetings like twice a month or once a month, you hear people come up with stories like, oh, I'm so sorry, I couldn't make it. Oh, okay, please, can you go through the minutes of the meeting so that at least you can catch up? At the end of the day, like, we ended up like losing people along the line. I don't know if I should say they were not passionate enough, or I don't know. I don't know.
I think commitment.
Exactly.
And as I
Like,
said, the situation of the country, people have different things to tackle, their own life experiences as well. So
exactly.
it's just one of those things.
Yeah. So that.
Thank you. So you've been able to identify two areas in terms of challenges that I recall. In terms of funding, the economic situation of Nigeria, I think Africa in general, inflation is on the rise, unemployment, and so many other issues that sometimes people find it hard to show that much enthusiasm when you ask them I want to ask for your staff as well. Do you have full-time staff members, or you run based on volunteering positions?
Currently, we run based on volunteering positions right now, but we have some full-time staff, just few, say 5, that we know, oh, on every project, these people are there. You can't even move them from their positions, but like different people volunteer at different times, depending on if they have the time to come out that day to support. So that's it.
All right. That's good to hear as well. At least cheers to those who are full-time members and they are down, they are ready, and they are committed and devoted to the cause of the foundation. As you said, it's not enough to highlight the challenges. It's also important to find ways by which we can tackle these challenges collaboratively as well. So the African Female Voices, as I said, we are committed to amplifying the voices of African women who are outstanding in their field, whatever field, either to child education, to sanitation, to reproductive health, whatever field we find them thriving. We would also love to collaborate. In this conversation so far has been very enlightening, and I think it's a very passionate conversation. I mean, talking about the non-governmental organization, the Crystal Care Foundation, founded by you, a very pretty, lovely young lady, passionate about education and empowerment for widows. So just before we wrap this up, we would also like to do something fun and not just dwell on the foundation. And we'd also like to know about you. So, for example, what do you love to do for fun? Exactly. You don't just work all day, run a business, run an NGO. I mean, what do you also do to unwind?
Okay. What do I do?
You're giving it a thought.
I'm trying to think, because like the type of business that I do, I don't go out. I'm always at home. So I try to think of what I do to unwind. Maybe cook. I enjoy cooking. I enjoy trying out new recipes and all of that. Yeah, I enjoy trying. It's just recently I started liking going out. Not like out. Because when I think of the traffic and everything, I'll sit down at home. That can be what you guys give me outside.
Busy city of Lagos.
Exactly. So maybe trying out new recipes, and like, yeah, I love to meet new people.
Oh,
Because
of course, you run a non-governmental organization. People are your power. People are your fuel to run.
Yes. So that's what I'll just say I do for fun.
All right, then. Thank you so much, Mimi. This was such a pleasure and a delight to have you on this episode of the African Female Voices podcast. And we look forward to speaking with you some other time. And as you said, collaborating, partnering. We're an organization based in South Africa, but definitely we like to have full coverage over Africa, since we're the African Female Voices, and we like to showcase, as I said earlier, the dynamic activities of other young African women in other countries. So thank you very much for giving us an insight and perspective of what young African females are doing in West Africa, Nigeria, to be precise. So thank you very much.